As the echoes of the mysterious earthquake reverberated everywhere, and as the Ganges carried those eerie red waters, humanity began to search for answers. Answers to questions it was not ready to accept. Varanasi, a city that had always been a symbol of spiritual peace, was now a center of turmoil and fear. But what happens when modern science fails to provide a rational explanation? And what happens when ancient religions begin to reveal their secrets hidden for thousands of years? At the Institute of Scientific Research in New Delhi, far from the chaos and panic that swept the streets, the world's scientists began to try to understand what had happened. Here, where modern technology meets ancient knowledge, the best minds in the fields of physics, astronomy, and even theology were called upon. They knew that this was not just a natural disaster, but something much bigger. In a secret laboratory, where the walls are covered with huge screens and sensitive sensors, Dr. Arjun Singh, a renowned nuclear physicist, stood before a screen showing strange data on energy waves emanating from the Varanasi region. These waves were unlike anything he had ever seen before. They were not natural, and they were not even within the scope of human understanding. They were like cosmic pulses, as if the Earth itself was trying to communicate with something else. But it was not just a scientific matter. In the other corner of the same room, there was a group of religious scholars, holding ancient manuscripts dating back more than 3,000 years. One of these manuscripts, written in ancient Sanskrit, contained a mysterious prophecy that no one had ever understood before. The prophecy spoke of the return of Kali at a time of global corruption, when humanity would reach the peak of its separation from nature and itself. Kali. This name, once silent in the distant past, is now the talk of the town. For some, Kali was a symbol of absolute destruction, a merciless goddess who comes to destroy everything. But for others, Kali was a symbol of renewal, a force that wipes out evil and creates a new beginning. The prophecy was clear on only one point. When Kali returns, there will be no going back. It will be the moment when the fate of humanity will be forever determined. Dr. Arjun Singh, who was looking at the data with growing concern, could not believe what he was seeing. The energy emanating from Varanasi was in no way natural. It was like a living entity, an ancient, powerful, and incomprehensible entity. There was something there, something that could not be explained by conventional physics. As he tried to make sense of this data, he heard the whispering voice of his colleague, a religious scholar who was reading the prophecy in a low voice. If this is really Kali, the world is no longer as we know it. The scientist said in a trembling voice, as if he had just realized the magnitude of the coming catastrophe. The words seemed to echo through the room, as if they carried a message from the future. Everyone in the room stopped and looked at him, as if trying to process what it meant. But the prophecy wasn't just words written on old parchment. It carried visions, vague images of the end of modern civilization and the rebuilding of the world from its ruins. It spoke of destruction, yes, but it also spoke of renewal, of the never-ending cycle of life, where destruction comes to create space for new beginnings. But the big question was, is humanity ready for this renewal? Or will we sink into the destruction we have brought upon ourselves? At that moment, when the scientists realized they were facing something supernatural, they began to think about the messages left by their ancestors. Perhaps it was not just a matter of science or technology. Perhaps it was about restoring balance. The balance that humanity had lost when it chose progress at the expense of nature, when selfishness and exploitation became part of its daily life. Kali, after all, was not just a goddess of destruction. She was a symbol of change, of sacrifice, of purification. But would this change be a blessing or a curse? Would Kali be a destructive force or a redeeming force? No one knew the answer. All that was clear was that time had begun to move quickly, and that the coming days would bring with them decisions that would change the face of the world forever. When civilizations collapse, the gods return to restore balance. But what kind of balance will it be? Will this return be a new beginning, or the end of everything?